All right, we're joined by the bantamweight champion, Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain, how's it going, man?
Good, good, doing good. It's a good day, good Wednesday.
Uh, what's this kind of past like 4 or 5 days been like? Just a lot of people were counting you out. People didn't really give you much of a shot. So now to kind of prove everyone wrong, what's this kind of past couple days been like for you?
It's been really good. Very rewarding for me. Just going around like Santa Claus with my cry jar, collecting those tears from all these Yan fans, and just telling them to suck it, and that's it. Going on my merry way, and just telling them I told you so.
Are you surprised like people disliked you that much? Because I could never understand because you were the guy that got kneed, and then ever since that, like people didn't like you. Like it was Jan that did the illegal move. All you did was just get kneed and you couldn't continue.
Yeah, I mean, I never really understood it. Um, I guess people were saying that they didn't like that I was acting. I'm like, just point out the part where like when I started, like from when I got kneed in the head, show me at which point in that sequence I started acting. Like, I don't know. People make no sense. They know what it feels like to get kneed in the head, and they know how you should react when you're not getting knocked out cold, how you should react. So it is what it is. People are going to say what they want to say. They're entitled to their own opinion. Doesn't mean they're right.
And because of that knee, like, do you think people over evaluated like his performance that fight? Because going into this rematch, like the thing I saw is, oh, Petr Yan was smoking Sterling when you, I thought, won the first round. I think you could have easily won the second round. Like it was a back and forth fight, and everyone just kind of thought that he was up 4-0 on you.
Yeah, and it worked out for me because I knew what I felt in there with him, and I knew he was good. But I was like, I can beat this guy, no problem. And I got to show it on April 9th. So unfortunately, I had hurt my neck really a lot worse than it already was, and I had to get the surgery, and that delayed the rematch. And that performance was literally the result of not eating properly to get ready for a 5 round fight after doing a 20-minute hard workout. And I said that at nauseum, and no one wanted to hear me. No one. I was the crazy guy in the room, and now everyone got to hear me now, and they have to respect what I said now because now it holds water.
Going into the fight too, like all fight week, any interview you did, like you kind of laid out the whole thing that you're gonna shock the world and it's still gonna be undisputed champion. Like, was that something like what kind of made you so confident? Like, I know you're confident in every single fight, but is there something you took away from the first fight that made you so confident going to this one?
Just the fact that if I didn't eat and I can keep the fight that close on a shitty night like that, what happens when I feel good? And that's when I kept telling everybody, what happens when I feel good? I'm like, you let me know. Because it's either I'm crazy and I'm missing something, or this guy is God sent and he could beat me without even trying on any day of the week, kind of thing. And thankfully, I was right. And I got to prove it to the world. I was like, man, I'm not saying the guy's not good. I just think I'm better. And I got to prove that.
First round, really close. I thought you won it. Like going in after the first round, like what was kind of the corner? What did you kind of think of that first round?
We could do this all day. We got one in the book. We got one in the bag already. He couldn't touch me, and that was pretty much what we were saying. His shots barely landed. So if you want to count those strikes, you could count them, but they barely landed. I landed the cleaner strikes, the harder strikes, the step in elbow that stumbled him backwards, the most significant strike of that round, and I think I outstruck him. I think 5 or 7 strikes. So there wasn't that many strikes thrown. I think less than 20 from both of us. So with that being said, how can you win a fight by just moving forward? You can say aggression all you want, but if both of us threw less than 20 strikes and I beat you by 5 to 7, and my strikes landed cleaner and harder, and I had the most significant strike of the entire round, how in God's green earth do you win the round? That makes no sense. But people were so blinded by the Yan aura that they wanted him to win so bad that they started grasping at straws, anything for him to win. First it was Yan by murder, Yan by decapitation, Yan by anything he wants in there. And I'm just like, oh my God, these guys can't be serious thinking that this is going to be a cakewalk for this guy. And if he comes in here thinking it's going to be a cakewalk, he's going to get his ass handed to him.
And then the second round, you go out there and take his back like pretty easily and just kind of control it, which I was surprised there's no 10-8. I thought it was a 10-8 round. So like, but after that second round, like, did that just even grow your confidence even more, but how quickly and how easily you were able to control his back and keep him down?
Oh, 100%. After I got that in my head, I'm like, that's a 10-8 round. I had like 4 minutes of control time, ground and pound and submission attempts. I'm like, that's the rule book criteria right there for the new scoring system, how to score a 10-8 round. And the fact that they didn't give me one, it's absolutely criminal. But we don't get to appeal anything. We don't get to ask questions. It's just they make the rules, they get to judge, and there's no accountability. And that's what's wrong with our sport. I'm not trying to talk shit and bash the judges, but there has to be accountability in order for our sport to grow. It's the one area that's not making any type of ground and changes to help make things more clear for the athletes and the coaches. We're the one that's going in there doing it. These guys are just collecting a check for showing for a job that they have to do maybe once a month. They probably ref, so it's like, do you guys even train? What are we looking at? Do you guys refresh yourselves on the ruling and the criteria? Because that's criminal. 3 minutes and 54 seconds, submission attempts, flatten him out, landing strikes, near fight ending. I mean, people could say, oh, maybe if it was one more, I think someone said 1 or 2 more strikes for me would have made it a 10-8. I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. That is the dumbest thing I ever heard, because 1 or 2 more strikes was going to make it look that much different in your mind. I'm like, it's crazy. But I thought I had 2 10-8 rounds going into that. I was like, man, I'm about to get a clean sweep in this fight.
Yeah, and then third round, similar, goes your way. Like that fourth and fifth round, it was still pretty close. Like maybe he edged both of them, but like going into that fourth round, like is it more than like you think you have 3 banked and it's more just let's just not be stupid and not get caught, or is it still just let's just try to get him down? Like what is kind of your game plan going into those championship rounds?
Honestly, it was just let's not get caught, And in hindsight, looking back at it, I'm like, man, I gave away the fourth round, kind of stupid, trying to do something really cool because I was running away with the fight. I'm like, I can try to get a banana split in this position. I jumped his back and then I fell off the top after taking him down, and I'm like, that was dumb. And I accepted being on bottom, and like I said, like the same thing people have to realize, like my dominant rounds were dominant.
Mhm.
His dominant rounds, well, let me not say that. His rounds that he won were very, very close. And it's just like, you didn't do anything. They said I was just laying on him. He had top position where he could have punched me in the face. He didn't do anything. He sat in my guard and hung out. He was resting, trying to recover to try to steal round, which he did, because I gave him that one. And then round 5, he tried to do more so the same. And it didn't pan out for him. So it is what it is. I won the fight. No one could tell me anything different. And I think people were just so shocked that it was competitive, and what I did to him, how dominant that I did it kind of threw him for a loop, that they just start grasping their straws for any reason to try to discredit me.
And going to the scorecards, like how confident were you? Because I thought you had 1, 2, and 3. I thought second round is a 10-8. And then I thought worst case scenario is it's a draw. Maybe
Draw.
they get Yan round 1. Like I didn't really see a way Yan won. So like how confident were you that you had won that fight when you went to the scorecards?
Oh, super confident. And then when I heard the split, I was so confused. I'm like, am I about to be robbed a split decision again? I got robbed from a Rafael Sunsao, outstruck him the whole time. Same thing. He's walking forward and I'm out pointing him, countering him, and I lose the fight. Same thing with Brian Caraway. They gave me a 10-9 round for the Brian Caraway fight in that first round for having him in a full
Mhm.
Nelson for damn near 4 minutes and getting close rear naked choke attempts. Same exact thing. So it's just like that fight should have been a draw. It's just weird how there's no consistency, and that's the issue. Is if there's some type of blueprint that they have to follow, so that if you hit the criteria, there is no subjective thought process of like, well, maybe it wasn't enough. You hit that threshold, you jot it down, and that's the score. This helps us all get clarity. This helps the sport progress and move forward, and this helps us all know from a more black and white sense of where we stand in the fight. And for me, I was like, if I get robbed of this fight, at least I know I fought really, really hard. And I just got robbed. But it is what it is, and should have been a clean sweep. But I'll take the split decision and live to fight another day.
You get your hand raised too. Like once that happens, you're announced as the winner, like, and still, like, what are those emotions like just overcoming the neck surgery? Like, I know you weigh-ins, you got emotional, and then after you said, like, people are counting you out that you may never fight again. So, like, after that, like, what are those emotions like? And then defeating this guy where everyone thought that was gonna run through you.
I was good. It was a very emotional moment for me. I couldn't be any more proud of everything I accomplished, everything I got over just to get to that position, just to get back. That made me extremely happy just to know I went through the most just to make that walk to the octagon. And I'm super blessed that I'm able to still do this. And having that's the culmination of the sport. That's what we do this for. We want to become the best. And not everyone gets to do that. There's only a handful of champions, a handful of them at the bantamweight division. And now I'm officially one of them.
This was technically your first title defense, but do you kind of view this as, like, you becoming the champ for real now? Because, like, just with all that kind of talk about the last one?
No, I felt like I was a champ when I beat Sanhagen. So for me, this
Mhm.
was my first title defense. Um, People can look at it how they want to look at it, but to me, in my eyes, I won the belt against Sanhagen. I had a hiccup against Yan the first one, and then we had a rematch, and I got to defend the belt against him.
And after the fight, Dana White came out and said he thought Yan won. Like, what do you kinda make of that?
Dana's always going to be throwing dirt on my name. That's just what he does. And I think he doesn't really think he has Jan rated so highly as such a dangerous guy that to have the grappler do that to him, he was really, really shocked. Especially after the first fight, because he probably thought that I had no chance in hell in winning that fight either. And sucks to be him right now, in the sense of you really wrote me off after everything that you've seen that I've done in the sport in his organization. It's it's a slap in the face, but at the end of the day, it doesn't bother me. Um, I think it bothers him more clearly because he doesn't know how to judge a fight, which it shows. And I think maybe he just let his emotions get ahead of him, and that's probably it. He's probably really invested in Jan winning that fight, and I threw a monkey wrench into their plans.
Is that something you and Dana have never really seen eye to eye, or is this kinda like that first time that's kinda happened?
No, it's happened in the past, but I think it's just more so the business aspect of things. When it comes to like outside of the octagon, like whenever we've talked with each other, it's always super cordial. He's super polite. I'm super polite to him. He's always nice to me. Um, we've always had good conversations. It's just whenever it comes to the fights, uh, I just don't think he really likes grapplers like that, unless you're
Mhm.
Khabib.
Now that the fight is past, like, are you surprised people were hyping up Yan this much? Like, people were calling him the boogeyman of the division. People were saying, like, he could easily be, like, the greatest 135er ever, and, like, you just kinda ran through and made it look easy.
Yeah, it sucks to suck. I got my my cry jar. So I'm coming around like Santa Claus tonight. I'm coming around for a couple more weeks collecting those tears, so all those people who wrote me off, yawn by anything, yawn by murder, yawn by decapitation. I'm coming for you guys. Make sure you fill out that apology form on my Instagram because I'm still collecting.
Just a couple more things. You called out Dillashaw after the fight. Like, when do you kinda want that to be?
I'm not thinking about the Dillashaw fight right now. That fight's on the table, but I'm not thinking about it right now. Just want to relax, take some time off from the sport, and get a little time to just decompress and recover, and then game plan how we're going to come back and attack with a vengeance.
Are you surprised some of the stuff TJ said about you, considering that he was off for 2 years for the steroid use?
Oh yeah, but it's silly. It's just like the guy's just blowing hot air, just saying shit to kind of get his name back into headlines again. He doesn't need to do that, but to try to discredit me and everything I've done is kind of stupid. But he'll be the next one to feel. All these other guys, they say what they want to say. I feel like Aldo's the only one who gave me respect after that fight with Jan, saying that in his mind he does see me as the champion, and you know, so it is what it is. I'm gonna eventually get to fight all these guys, and then we can all figure it out.
And then Cejudo after said he's coming back. Like, do you think he actually is coming back for real? Do you think that's more just like him still trying to get more money from the UFC?
I think he's trying to come back for 145. I don't know if he's going to try to come down to 35. If he does, I'm here. I'm ready. I think it's an intriguing fight. I'll take one of those belts away easily, and we could make him triple C back to double C.
And just last thing, like Ray Longo now, 3 champions, 3 guys completely written off. Like, do you not think he gets talked that he doesn't get talked about enough as like one of the best coaches ever?
Uh, I would say so. I think things have been overshadowed. Like once the guys win and then they lose, people kind of like the talk kind of gets removed. But I think this win has reignited that conversation, and people are starting to realize what they have in front of them, and it's not an easy thing to do. So far so good, and I don't know how much longer he can do this, to be honest, but there could be another chance that he could get another one before it's all said and done. So it just depends.
Well, Aljamain, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, buddy.